American imperialism, regime changes, resource exploitation, and the seeds of chaos. American imperialism, often framed through the lens of national security or ideological battles like anti-communism, has frequently served economic imperatives. Since the late 19th century, U.S. interventions abroad have targeted regimes perceived as threats to corporate interests, resource access, and market dominance. These actions, ranging from coups to invasions, have secured vital commodities like oil, minerals, and agricultural products for American banks and corporations, while maintaining global economic hierarchies favorable to U.S. capital. However, they have also sown long-term instability, civil wars, and humanitarian crises in the affected regions, perpetuating cycles of chaos that indirectly benefit U.S. arms sales, reconstruction contracts, and geopolitical leverage. Drawing on declassified documents and historical analyses, this article examines key examples, highlighting how these interventions facilitated resource acquisition, protected markets, and destabilized nations, all in service of imperial ambitions. Early foundations: Hawaii and the Pacific Sugar Empire. The overthrow of Hawaii's Queen Liliuokalani in 1893 marked one of the earliest overt acts of U.S. economic imperialism in the Pacific. American sugar planters, backed by U.S. Marines, deposed the Queen to prevent reforms that threatened their plantations. This coup directly enabled the annexation of Hawaii in 1898. Transferring vast sugar lands to U.S. corporations and integrating the islands into American markets. The economic motive was clear. Sugar tariffs and land concessions protected U.S. agribusiness from competition, boosting profits for firms like those tied to Sanford Ballard Dole. The destabilization was profound. The illegal overthrow suppressed native Hawaiian sovereignty, leading to cultural erosion and economic disenfranchisement that persists today. This pattern of prioritizing corporate resource grabs over stability set a template for future interventions, safeguarding banks financing these plantations while leaving indigenous populations in turmoil. Latin America: fruit, copper, and corporate coups. In Latin America, U.S. actions repeatedly targeted leftist governments implementing land reforms or nationalizations that challenged American corporations. In Guatemala, the 1954 CIA-backed coup against President Jacobo Arbenz was driven by threats to the United Fruit Company, UFC, which controlled 42% of the country's land. Arbenz's agrarian reforms redistributed UFC's uncultivated lands to peasants, jeopardizing U.S. fruit exports and market control. The coup restored these lands to UFC, ensuring cheap banana supplies for American consumers and profits for shareholders. However, it plunged Guatemala into decades of civil war, with over 200,000 deaths as military regimes suppressed dissent, chaos that deterred further reforms and kept the region open to U.S. investment. Brazil's 1964 U.S.-supported coup ousted President João Goulart, whose leftist policies, including profit remittance limits on foreign firms, alarmed American businesses. The intervention protected U.S. economic aid flows and corporate operations, maintaining Brazil as a stable market for American goods. The resulting military dictatorship stabilized short-term investments, but unleashed repression, including torture and disappearances, fostering long-term inequality and unrest that echoed through the region. Chile's 1973 CIA-orchestrated coup against Salvador Allende targeted his nationalization of copper mines owned by U.S. firms like Anaconda and Kennecott. Augusto Pinochet's regime reversed these policies, reprivatizing resources and opening markets to U.S. capital, which boosted copper exports and protected Wall Street interests. Yet Pinochet's rule led to thousands of deaths and economic shocks, destabilizing Chile and inspiring authoritarianism across Latin America. Grenada's 1983 U.S. invasion, Operation Urgent Fury, followed the execution of Prime Minister Maurice Bishop amid internal strife. Officially to protect U.S. students, it secured the island's stability for American investments and tourism markets. The intervention restored pro-U.S. governance but exacerbated regional tensions, contributing to Caribbean militarization. Panama's 1989 invasion, Operation Just Cause, removed Manuel Noriega, citing drug trafficking, but primarily reclaimed control of the Panama Canal. This ensured uninterrupted U.S. shipping routes vital for global trade, benefiting corporations reliant on efficient markets. The operation caused civilian casualties and urban destruction, leading to ongoing instability and drug-related violence. Haiti's 2004 U.S.-supported coup against Jean-Bertrand Aristide stemmed from his push for higher wages in U.S.-linked factories. By ousting him, the U.S. preserved cheap labor for American apparel firms, maintaining market advantages. Repeated interventions have left Haiti in perpetual chaos, with gangs and poverty exacerbated by foreign-backed instability. Africa and Asia, minerals, war, and opium. In the Congo, the 1961 CIA-backed assassination of Patrice Lumumba protected U.S. access to uranium and other minerals amid decolonization. Lumumba's nationalist policies threatened Western mining companies. His removal ensured resource flows to U.S. industries. This sparked decades of civil war, with millions dead, turning the region into a haven for exploitation by multinationals. Vietnam's 1963 U.S.-backed coup against Ngo Dinh Diem escalated the war, ostensibly for anti-communism, but tied to securing Southeast Asian markets and resources. The intervention protected U.S. economic interests in rubber and oil, but the ensuing conflict killed millions and destabilized Indochina, creating refugee crises and anti-Western sentiment. Afghanistan's 2001 U.S. invasion toppled the Taliban, but opium production surged from 200 tons to over 3,000 tons annually, fueling the global heroin trade. While not the primary motive, the chaos enabled U.S. firms to pursue mineral extraction and pipelines, though corruption and insurgency persisted, benefiting arms contractors. Middle East, oil, allies, and selective atrocities. Iran's 1953 CIA coup against Mohammad Mossadegh reversed oil nationalization, restoring access for U.S. and British companies. This secured cheap oil for American markets, protecting energy corporations, but installed the Shah's repressive regime, leading to the 1979 revolution and ongoing regional volatility. Libya's 2011 NATO intervention, led by the U.S., ousted Muammar Gaddafi amid civil unrest, opening oil fields to Western firms. The power vacuum triggered civil war, with resource grabs amid chaos benefiting U.S. energy interests while displacing millions. Iraq's 2003 invasion deposed Saddam Hussein under false weapons of mass destruction pretexts, but oil contracts for U.S. firms followed. This maintained global oil market stability for American consumers and corporations, but ignited sectarian violence, ISIS's rise, and over 1 million deaths, destabilization that served defense contractors. In contrast, the U.S. turns a blind eye to atrocities in allied nations like Israel under Benjamin Netanyahu. Billions in annual military aid sustain Israel's operations in Gaza, despite human rights abuses, because it advances U.S. strategic interests, a reliable outpost against rivals, arms testing ground, and bulwark for imperial control in the Middle East. This selective intervention protects U.S. corporations in tech and energy while ignoring Palestinian suffering, perpetuating regional chaos that justifies further U.S. involvement. The imperial pattern, profits over peace. These interventions, over 70 since World War II, illustrate a consistent strategy. Regime changes secure resources like oil and minerals, maintain U.S. market dominance, and protect banks and corporations from nationalist threats. Yet, the resulting destabilization, civil wars, economic ruin, and humanitarian crises creates dependencies that further entrench American influence, from aid to arms sales. While politically incorrect to frame as naked imperialism, the evidence from declassified records substantiates this cycle, where short-term gains for elites yield long-term global instability.
Cannibalism eats its own. It dethrones kings from foreign thrones. The dollar's the law, the power's the crown. Ivory towers write laws that keep nations down. Sow the greed, plant the seed. Watch empires bleed so the few can feed. The market hungers, bloated obscene. It devours the world to keep profit supreme. From distant shores to shattered bones, cannibal kings guard stolen thrones. CIA, empire shadowed hand, topples regimes on command. Destabilize nations, plant their pawns. Wall Street feast while the dollar's strong. Mosaic crushed for oil's black crown. Pipelines roar as nations drown. Or Ben's exile, reforms betrayed. Fruit empires rise from blood that's paid. Lumumba buried in Congo's dirt. Minerals stripped while markets spurt. DM discarded like a worn out pawn. Napalm feasts as jungles burn on. Cannibal kings feasting on flesh. Topple the weak, leave the world a mess. Destroy to devour. Profits the priest. The dream they sell is the beast unleashed. Cannibal kings feasting on flesh. Topple the weak, leave the world a mess. Destroy to devour. Profits the priest. The dream they sell is the beast unleashed. Low leg bound in Brazil's steel cage. Factories grind on the workers' rage. Atlantis palace in fire and flame. Copper kings carve up his name. Bishop erased in Granada's tide. Invasion waves where the prophets hide. Noriega dragged through Panama's maze. Drug wars cloaked in canal haze. It chews through nations, spits out the poor. Haiti, Iraq, always wanting more. Saddam's news, Gaddafi's fall. Drones sing hymns to empire's call. But Allah speaks at the table's head. Babies billions flow while Gaza's bled. No house for those who feed the machine. Cannibal cycle, forever unclean. Hawaii's queen was the first to fall. Sugar crowns built the kingdom's call. Taliban caves turned poppy plains. Opium goats haunt soldier veins. Aristide vanished in island rain. Democracy pawned for bankers' gain. Libya gutted, vault stripped bare. Also chaos fills desert air. Cannibal kings feasted on flesh. Topple the weak, leave the world a mess. Destroy to devour. Profits the priest. The dream they sell is the beast unleashed. Cannibal kings feasted on flesh. Topple the weak, leave the world a mess. Destroy to devour. Profits the priest. The dream they sell is the beast unleashed. World in ruins, hunger persists. Empires kneel to the fiat priests. Cannibal heart in the land of the free, devouring all for eternity.